All right, so I lived in Dallas for over 20 years, and while I love it, obviously I sell real estate here, there are some things you should be aware of before moving to the great state of Texas, specifically Dallas. So today I'm going to give you the 5 worst things about living in Dallas, Texas. Hey guys, John Garms here with Selling North Dallas. And like I said, I love this place. Let's be real, every city has its pros and its cons. So let's talk about those things that you need to be aware of when moving to Dallas, Texas. Now, I'll be honest with you, I had trouble with this list. I've lived here a long time and I love it. I really do. And I'm not gonna tell you why I love it, because if you wanna know why I love it, you need to watch this video right here. Today, I'm gonna talk about the things I hate about it. And hate's a strong word. So I did what any sensible husband and father would do. I asked my family, what do you hate about living in Dallas, Texas, specifically North Dallas? And my daughter had the typical teenage answer, there's nothing to do here, or everything's expensive. She didn't say it like that. I guess that's my dumb teenager voice. I even asked her boyfriend, and he said the same thing she said.
That's what she said.
So then I asked my wife, babe, what do you hate about living in Dallas? And everything she said had to do with stuff about me. So obviously I'm not going to tell you that stuff. So I just came up with my own list of 5 items that I'm going to say it, I dislike about living in Dallas. So if you're going to move here, you need to know about this stuff. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. All right, number 1 is construction. Now, we've got a pretty good highway system here. The roads are good for the most part, but due to so many people coming here, the inbound migration from other states, specifically California, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, there's a lot of demand on our highway system, which means it's always being improved. I think the entire 20 plus years I've lived here, 635 has been under construction in one way or another. Like it's just how we do things here. They finish one section and they move on to another one. So you just need to know construction sucks. Now, growth is exciting, but I'm going to tell you, if you have low profile tires on your car, you need to sell the car. In fact, Katie is not a car person at all. And the one time in our, 22 years of marriage that she has specifically driven the cart on getting rid of a car, we had a car with low profile tires on it, brand new, that she loved it, but she called me and said, get me out of this car.
Let me out of this car.
This woman went through, I think 4 sets of tires in 6 months because of construction, picking up nails and debris and crap like that. If you insist on having low profile tires on your car, make sure you get the wheel and tire package from your dealership. Best money you'd ever spent. Trust me on that. All right, number 2, DFW is super spread out. It's going to take you 15 minutes to get anywhere, and you're not walking at all unless you live in Addison or, downtown Dallas. You're driving everywhere or calling an Uber or, God help you, using the horrible public transportation system that we have in Dallas. It's called the DART system, Dallas Area Rapid Transit. There's nothing rapid about public transportation in Dallas. We don't have a subway, we don't have an L train. It's buses and a few rail systems, and unless you're going downtown or you want to get into a fight or get mugged, stay off the damn train. Unless it's Saturday before noon, just drive. You're not gonna want to get on a bus or a train. Just trust me on that. Number 3, topography. Dallas is really flat. Now, it's not West Texas flat. All right, so I learned how to snowboard down the side of an overpass in Littlefield, Texas. That's flat. We've got a little rolling hills in some parts of the city. For example, Lantana, Texas has kind of a Texas hill country feel, sort of. Sorry, hill country people, I know that you're going to take offense to that, but compared to the rest of the city, the Metroplex is pretty flat. There are some pockets that have a little bit of undulation to them, but by and large, topography, there is none. Or I guess flat is It's kind of like round as a shape, but if you're looking for hills or mountains or beaches, no presente. I'm going to put a link in the description to an article that talks about, actually 2 links, one for beaches. There's no beaches around here that aren't freshwater. Joe Pole Lake has got some parts to it that are pretty sweet. But if you're wanting the beach and you're wanting saltwater, the closest beach would be down near Corpus, which is about 6.5 hour drive. So I put a link in the description to an article. Props to Dallas Wanderer for writing this article. They break down some of the really cool beaches in Texas. So the closest mountains would be the Wichita Mountains in Oklahoma, which is about a 3-hour drive from Prosper, 3.5 hour drive from Dallas. To call them mountains, especially if you're from Colorado or parts of Utah, if you're around legit mountains, these are mountains. It's the closest thing that we have here locally, and it's let's just call it 3.5 hour drive from Dallas. So props to Dallas Wanderer for breaking down some cool beach spots in Texas that aren't Alabama or Florida or California or Mexico. So if you want to drive to a beach, you're 6.5 hours. Otherwise, if you want a short trip, you're getting on a plane and you're flying to one of the coasts, or Cancun, or Cabo. Cabo's actually really nice this time of year. If you want Rocky Mountains, you're a 10-hour drive to Red River, New Mexico. That's probably your closest bet. Well, that's your closest bet to the Rockies. We'll put it that way. There's parts of Arkansas. I don't want to hear from you, Arkansas people. So you can get to the Ouachitas and the Ozarks closer, but if you want Rockies, Red River, New Mexico is probably your shortest drive. Otherwise, you're hopping on a bird. Do you hear the trend here? All right, are you ready? Here we go. The number 4 thing is the seasons. People talk about there's 4 seasons. Well, in Dallas, there are not 4 seasons. There's 2. Hot and cold. There is no spring. Well, there's a spring. I guess spring lasts a day and a half. And there's no fall. Or if there is, it lasts maybe 2 or 3 days. But there's a saying in Dallas, if you don't like the weather, give it 15 minutes. In the summertime, it's hot, like really hot. Today it was 106. Now the good news is there's no humidity, but for comparison's sake, today in Los Angeles, it's a balmy 72 degrees with 64% humidity. In Houston, it's 93 degrees with 51% humidity. New York, 83 degrees with 45% humidity. Dallas, 106. 100, H-U-N-N-E-R-T, 106, 34% humidity. And then in Phoenix, 101 degrees, 13% humidity. Now, I've lived in Phoenix. It's not Phoenix hot, but it's hot. And there's enough moisture in the air to where your skin doesn't just fall off your face and blow away, but it's hot. It's relatively dry. Put on some sunscreen, put some lotion on, you're gonna be fine. Air conditioning, everywhere has air conditioning. But if you park in the sun, you're gonna burn your face and your ass and your hands when you get in the car, especially if you're a leather guy. I'm a leather guy. Can you tell? Actually, cloth interior might be preferred here in Texas. But if you can have the air-conditioned seats, that's a great ad in the old coche or carro, depending upon which Spanish teacher you had in high school. It's freaking hot. And in the winter, it's cold. Now, if you live here and your body, your blood adjusts to the temperatures, it gets freaking cold. And with the extra wind chill and the humidity in the wintertime, it's cold. Now, it's not, negative 50 like some parts of the country. But for us Texans, it's freaking cold.
Going back inside.
Yeah, it is freaking cold out here.
And you get into the wintertime and it's either gorgeous or your face is turned into a popsicle. So if you're into popsicle faces, come on down. But that was the number 4 reason I hate Dallas is the freaking weather. All right, are you ready for the number 5 reason? The most hated thing about Dallas? Bad drivers. Now, I think what they do, I think there's a government conspiracy that finds all of this drivers from around the world and they put them on boats and planes and they send them here. Now, let me tell you something. If the speed limit is 55 and you're on a 2-lane highway, or let's call it a 4-lane highway, if you are driving 55 in the left lane, you're that's how it works. That's actually written into the Texas law. The left lane is for passing and only passing. Well, I'm driving 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, so I'm just going to cruise in the left lane. Nope, you're an or you're going to get the finger. People are going to ride your butt and they're going to flip you off and they're going to call you everything in the book but a white woman. You are in trouble if you are driving in the left lane. You're driving too slow. If you're driving 50 miles an hour the speed limit, somebody is driving faster than you and they're behind you and they're riding your butt. Unless you're turning left immediately or you're passing somebody, stay out of the left lane and you'll be in good shape in Texas. And God forbid we have any sort of precipitation on the road. If there's moisture at all, be it rain or sleet or snow, the one time in 5 years we get snow, people lose their minds if there's water on the road. If it's raining, everybody forgets how to drive. And that's very frustrating to someone who is a master at not only driving, but driving fast. The speed limit, it's a suggestion. Just stay out of the left lane and you'll be fine. Everyone will love you. And if you're that guy that says, well, I'm driving the speed limit, and if you don't like me driving the left lane, then you're just driving too fast. Well, you're an and if you want to be an that's fine. I love you the same, but you're an stay out of the left lane and we won't call you an That's just kind of how it works. So there you go. Dallas has a couple of drawbacks, but in the grand scheme of things, I think most reasonable people would agree you gotta live with that stuff. And if you're not a reasonable person, then we don't want you. Just stay where you're at. But if you're a reasonable person, come on to Dallas. We can't wait to have you. It really is an amazing place to live. You know, I struggled with putting together 5 reasons, but you know, we managed to pull it off. Now, if you want to know all the reasons that I love about Dallas, or my top 5 reasons, click the link here and you can check that video out. It's good to see you. Have a nice day.